I'm going to show you the different areas, tell you some fun facts, and you'll get the opportunity to play in the exhibit before everyone else arrives this evening. So follow me. So as you can see, as you enter the exhibit here, this is kind of our main feature. This is a very cool exhibit. It's called Jumping Like a Cat. We can jump, but we can't jump anything quite like cats do. A typical size cat can actually jump 8 to 9 feet. A small cat here would probably be able to jump and touch that button at the top. Obviously the challenge for humans is to try and do the same thing. I wasn't even able to hit the 8-foot one, so it's an incredible physical ability that cats have. Dogs don't have that same ability. They can jump more than 4 times their height, but think about the size of a cat and how far that is. Typical cat is 20 inches, can jump 8 feet. That's pretty impressive. Our slalom here has also proven to be very popular. Every day that I've come in here has a nice lineup, but this is testing the speed of animals, of cats and dogs. A typical human can run at 7.5 miles per hour. I don't know what kind of human that is. This human can't run at that rate. That's quite fast actually, but that's the average human speed. A typical dog can run at 20 miles per hour, and a greyhound, which is bred specifically for speed and racing, can run at 44 up to 45 miles per hour, which is pretty fast. So dogs are a lot faster. Cats can run fast, typically at very, very short speeds. Some of the fastest animals in the world are cats, but they only run for short periods, whereas dogs can, as any of you have dogs can run all day if you give them the opportunity. I don't know about this little guy here, but I have, just so you know, I do have a cat and a dog. I have a ginger cat. His name is Tony, and I have a little dog. She's a cross between a mini pin and a dash hound, and her name is Pepper, and she's black and she's lovely. I was going to bring her this evening, but I thought she'd probably be a little intimidated by all of these people. So yeah, that's kind of the 2 highlights of the in your skin, so the physical capabilities of cats and dogs. We'll head into the in their heads, talking about behavioral traits. All cats and dogs are born blind and deaf. It takes cats about 5 days to open their eyes and about 2 weeks. For cats, within 3 weeks, they're walking as well as an adult cat. Dogs are a little bit slower. They're typically blind and deaf for about 2 to 3 weeks before they can start to open their eyes and start to walk. Dogs are a lot more reliant on their mothers for a lot longer than cats are. That's typically why cats can be adopted by 8 weeks, and dogs, it's more like 12 weeks before they can be away from their mother. So just another fun fact. So in this area, in their heads, it talks a lot about communication, how dogs and cats communicate with each other, in their own species and cross species, and also how they understand us. If you're like me, I talk to my dog and I talk to my cat a lot. I understand that they do not understand a single word that I'm saying, but what they're watching for is movement and expressions and body movement. So very often when I say to my dog, "Can we go for a walk? Can we go for a walk?" My dog is not understanding a single word, but understands the action and the expression on my face and the tone that I use. Whereas if, maybe my dog hasn't done something, I'd be like, why did you poop in the house, Pepper? And she and her ears go down, and it's like she's understanding me, but she's paying more attention to the tone and my body language, and especially the facial expression. I was just giving our interim CEO a tour before this, and she said, so if you said to your dog, and I apologize how this might came across, but she said, "Yeah, you want to have a beer? Are you going to have a glass of wine?" The dog would take that as, "Oh, you want to go for a walk?" Even though you're using totally different words, if you use the same facial expressions, they see that as, like, "Yeah, I want to go for a walk." Even though that's not what you said. Also, with regards to senses, we as humans rely a lot on our sight. In fact, if we take our sight away, we are very often not able to function. We kind of need someone else to guide us around. Cats and dogs, they don't rely on their sight very much at all. They have a very unclear, blurry vision. So they rely very heavily on their sense of smell and their sense of hearing. We all know that both dogs and cats have a way better sense of hearing than we do. And I know my dog can smell something coming before I can see it or before I can hear it. And it's very, their sense of smell and their sense of hearing is probably at least 10 times better than ours is. Don't rely on vision at all. This exhibit over here, and this is definitely one I suggest you try out. So you can select cat or dog, and what happens is a video starts playing and it will show you what a dog or a cat can see. Actually, we'll come over and I'll press one of the buttons for you. What this video does is it shows you what a cat, I think I selected dog, we'll find out in a minute. It shows you what a cat or a dog can see. The visual that you see is pretty much the same for cats and dogs. It's very black and white. They sense, so this is obviously a dog. They sense kind of some color and they do have some focus, but most of the time everything is a bit of a blur. You can put the headphones on and you can listen to what the dogs and the cats are hearing. And when somebody's speaking, it's very much mumbo jumbo, but they're paying attention to body movement, things that are in the hand, and the expression on the faces. There's also these little things here that will blow air every now and then. So when the dog goes outside, they're feeling air on their face. So they're sensing their environment based on many things other than their sight. There's also these places here where you put your hand and you can feel vibration, so that as a dog or a cat is running along, they're sensing vibrations in the ground that kind of tell them a little bit about where they are and what's going on around them, far more than obviously they're relying on their sight. And obviously they're very attracted to different smells, and that's very often why dogs and cats will disappear or drag you off into different areas. They smelt something and they want to go check it out. In this area there's quite a bit of myth busting. There are a lot of things that we think we know about cats and dogs, and many of them are untrue. So I will test you a little bit here. Adult cats need to be given milk. Anybody here think that's true? Very good. That's actually a very good question. What kind of milk? So there are a number of people that do feed cats milk. Well, adult cats are lactose intolerant and are unable to actually digest the milk. That's one that people often believe. A purring cat is a happy cat. It's actually false. I would say it's mostly true, but cats actually purr for a multitude of reasons. They will actually purr if they're sensing or feeling pain as well as pleasure. It comes from being part of the mother. They would purr to communicate with the mother and to let the mother know that they were there, but they would purr if they were hungry, if they were cold, and if they were tired and wanted to sleep, and that's how they would communicate with their mother. So purring has a multitude of different meanings behind it. And this one here, dogs need a dominant master. That's definitely a debatable one, but it's actually false. We were just having a discussion earlier with someone about the dog whisperer. The dog whisperer always says that dogs need a master or somebody dominant around them. And dogs react very much to emotion and affection and rules, very clearly defined rules and consistency with rules. So they don't need a dominant master. That's not what they're looking for in you as an owner. They're looking for love and affection. That is all. They will react to love and affection. That is all. But some good ground rules are a good idea in order for dogs and us and dogs and cats to be able to live together. So lots of really interesting fun facts here. Our relationship with cats and dogs has changed a lot over time. They started out as kind of working with us and helping us with different needs that we had, as mentioned, hunting and agriculture. But that relationship has very much changed over the years, and I expect it will continue to change as our lives continue to change, and our households and our reliance on different things. So I'll just quickly walk you through the last area. There's some super interesting artwork here that portray how we've viewed cats and dogs throughout history, throughout time. Really cute, and the image at the top with the dog with the gramophone, I think everybody's probably seen that. I think it's a lovely picture. And just a nice, comfy, cozy area here for the parents to sit while the kids run around the gallery, but also as a good programming area. We envision doing story time here, maybe some cat and dog puppetry. We're also hoping to have a bit of a news stand here. There's lots of news articles, especially about dogs, quite a lot. So we want to have like a little news stand here that you can read through current articles about dogs, especially, what's the word I'm looking for? Search and rescue dogs. There's a group of dogs that recently came back from the Bahamas who were helping them to look for bodies over there. And they recently come back, all local dogs. So stories and a lot more about dogs in our society. There's an interesting, it might be hard, especially for kids, to sit and listen, but this talks about some of the harm that humans have done to animals, cats and dogs specifically, over the years. So there is still this trend of clipping dogs' ears and tails. It's illegal in many countries. It's still legal in the US, and I have to admit I don't actually know about Canada. I think it's legal here too, but you know, it's something to make the dog look better or more vicious or for whatever reasons, but it's pretty cruel. And there it talks about some other cruel things that have been done to cats and dogs over time because something we felt is necessary. It looks like everybody wants to go play, so I want to give you the time to go do that. But at the very end of this exhibit, if you head down here, there is a super fun trivia game. It's 3 sets of people can play, and it is based on all of the facts that you would have learned in this exhibit. Every time I watch people play, they do quite well. It does do a bit of that myth busting about cats and dogs, just to test your trivia, see how much you've learned, see how much you know. And there's a lot of information in this exhibit. There's also a lot of fun interactives. The cats and dog videos are super cute to watch. So please go ahead, enjoy the exhibit at your leisure.